Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Beyond Second Cognition. I'm Beall. The topic of this discussion is the late wakers. I'm going to ask our viewers to listen to this message very closely. A lot of you are wanting to know what's going on, and I'm going to deliver this with the best comparative explanation that I can come up with to increase your understanding of what's taking place. A lot of you are just now waking up to the realization of what's actually going on. Like us, you spent a lot of years in the trenches, lost in New Age, different varieties, or lost in religions or whatever. And now that you're starting to wake up, you're all feeling a sense of urgency, which we're feeling too, but for different reasons. To understand what's taking place here, you have to look at this whole PSOYCA operation in similar light to a military operation. Whenever a military launches any type of offensive, it tries to send out scouts ahead of time to scout out the territory and the terrain and let the forces that come behind them know what's in store for them. You could equate this to the Marines, or you could equate this to artillery batteries softening up the enemy, or the Air Force bombing and softening up the enemy so the expeditionary forces can get a foothold. In one sense, Gemma and I have been the Marines. We've been scouting out the land, sweeping the minefield, discovering where the mines lie, so those that wake up at a later period of time and step onto the battlefield have a lot of the softening up already done. We've spent a lot of time with crew out there softening up the enemy, making the battlefield easier to engage in. And just like with any military operation, you have your first responders, and then you have those that are the additional forces that are to come in later once they have the intel and know what to avoid when they step into the battle arena. The PSOYCA awakening was established in this fashion. There were the initial troops to scope out the land, to soften up the enemy, and then there were others who were going to wake up later that were going to follow up. Now, what we have done is we've gone out, scoped out the land, we've seen the pitfalls, the traps, the illusions, and we've come back with our books with these videos, and we're reporting it. So what took me close to 20 years, and Gemma more than 10 to 15 years, we've got the lay of the land. So now we're coming back and reporting to the ones that were not scheduled to wake up until this point in time. We're giving you all the information you need. And what took us a long period of time, you guys are going to come up to speed with a lot faster because we've done the groundwork. We've done the figuring it out part. We're providing you guys the intel, so the learning curve that I had of 20 years, you guys are going to be able to minimize to 2 or 3 because you have all the information in hand that you need to know to advance yourselves substantially more quickly. We've gone out and we've swept the minefield. You know where the mines are. You know what to avoid. And even though you may have spent a goodly percentage of your life lost in that spiritual woo-woo land created by the hive, you weren't supposed to be awake until now. That's why when you hear these messages, you're triggering now, because you were supposed to be a sleeper until it was time to wake up. And now that you are waking up, a lot of you are pushing to make up lost ground. Fortunately, we have laid out everything that you need to know. So all you have to do is apply what we provide as a form of knowledge, and you're going to get up to speed a hell of a lot faster than we did. We took the time to find the ins and outs to provide the intel that you need to move forward without stepping in the shitholes. Granted, some of you may have already done that, but don't be beating yourself up because you're only now coming to the party. The fact of the matter is, the way this operation is designed, you weren't supposed to come to the party until now. You were not supposed to find this information until now. And when you found the triggers, what woke you up is what's driving your spark and your push to get up to speed. You feel that you're behind. And this is your own PSOYCA creating a sense of urgency in yourself to work with the information and digest it and get it up to speed. But I'm here to tell you, there's not a PSOYCA among any of you that is not up for this task. Every one of you knows on a deep level that you have the capability to do this. It's only the residual virus doubts and lack of self-trust that makes you worry about whether you're sufficient to the task or not. On a PSOYCA level, when you start operating from that standpoint, you're going to know that you can do this. Just like Gemma said in her video, you've got this. The only enemy you have at this point is your own residual virus doubts and things like this. This is why we keep emphasizing stay the course. If you stick with it, you bite the bullet, you're going to transcend all of this human failure programming that's been plugged into this species, feeling that you're insufficient to the task. I'm here to tell you that every one of you is sufficient to the task. But so far as beating yourself up because you're only now coming to this party and you feel that you're a latecomer, that you've missed it all along, you're not. You weren't supposed to wake up until now. And because we have this information available, you are going to be able to learn things faster than we did while we were out trying to figure out where the mines were in the minefield. Each one of you can do this. You have the capability. Just don't let those old habits whip your ass and make you throw in the towel in defeat. I just wanted to put this out here to explain and maybe take a little bit of this internal pressure off in thinking that you should have gotten this before. In all honesty, until we laid the information out here, there was no way to get it. There was no informational source that was going to provide you the knowledge that we're providing through these videos. If it were there, I would have found it and I wouldn't have to be doing this stuff. The plain and simple fact is this information does not exist in the mainstream, and you all know it. There's little pieces here and there. The hive has been hijacking our ideas, our doctrines, and mimicking them, creating a false veneer of spirituality, as the hive called it, to misdirect any PSOYCA warrior who came in here and make them fall into buying the counterfeit rather than the real thing. So you can't beat yourself up on the impressions you had, the beliefs that you harbored over the years as you were looking for this, because there was no valid information out there to pick from. I mean, the weeding process that I had to go through to winnow this stuff out was monumental. And what I'm doing with my work and Gemma's doing with hers is we're shortening the path. You know, we're not taking that snaky, windy road up the mountain. We're cutting through the mountain with a tunnel and diminishing the distance to be traveled like we did. So don't be beating yourself up because you didn't get it before now. You weren't supposed to. The information wasn't there. You weren't supposed to awaken until this point. Now that you're awake and now that you know this, just continue with the work, erode the virus habits, get yourself up to speed, and we can continue on with creating this new reality. And hopefully this explanation will put things in context for all of you so you can quit beating the shit out of yourselves over why you didn't get it. There was no information available to allow you to get it, and you weren't supposed to get it until now. Now that you've gotten it, you just got to straighten out your housekeeping. So, for all of you doing the work, stay the course and don't give up on